Hi, I'm Jenny. Thank you for tuning in to Jenny Kern Astrology. Today we'll be exploring the new moon in Capricorn, January 18th, 2026, exacting 28 degrees of Capricorn. The second half of January 2026 has a much different energy than the first half. It's going to be much faster, future-focused, and forward-moving. Neptune is preparing to ingress into Aries, and Saturn follows soon after, so they're about to align. Everything that's been in Capricorn is shifting into fixed air, highly intellectual and innovative sign Aquarius. These planetary bodies will align with Pluto, the planet of deep personal transformation, after having opposed Jupiter in Cancer, forcing us to face ingrained beliefs stemming from childhood and family systems that still affect us, even on an unconscious level today. Remember that, elementally speaking, air fuels fire, so they work well together. As of February 17th, we'll have the Lunar New Year, the year of the fire horse. The last time we had a year of the fire horse in Chinese astrology was 1966. The 1960s was a highly revolutionary time, and we'll be returning to similar energies. There were demonstrations of peace and human rights protests, including the Black Power movement, LGBTQ rights, and women's rights movements. We also saw anti-war protests, and this was because of the Vietnam War, which was the first televised war, bringing harsh, highly graphic, day-to-day combat realities to the screens of Americans. Uranus and Pluto aligned from 1965 to 1966, which was a seeding moment that happened in the sign of Virgo. It's blossoming today via demands for revolution and greater equality as power, slowly over the next 20 years with Pluto and Aquarius, shifts into the hands of the people. We'll really see these themes amplified with several trines between Uranus in Gemini and Pluto in Aquarius in 2026. This is peaking in July 2026 with an exact trine. Pluto is in the very early degrees of Aquarius, currently 3 degrees Aquarius. It's an energy I'm familiar with because it's right on top of my natal north node of fate and destiny, the energy I'm meant to embody in this lifetime. Stoic, detached, intellectual, and community-focused. It's slowly but surely transforming my life to align with my soul's mission, my dharma. Pluto only progresses about 3 degrees a year, depending on the sign it's traveling through, as the slowest moving and furthest planetary body in our solar system. Historically, every time Uranus has traveled through the sign of the twins, Gemini, the United States has been involved in a major war or conflict. The last time Neptune traveled through Aries was during the American Civil War. A Neptune in Aries theme we'll see playing out includes political assassinations. China's ascendant, their rising sign, is exactly 3 degrees Aquarius. So China is about to come into greater visibility on the world stage. This is specifically playing out over control of silver and Taiwan. The leader of China and the leader of Russia both have a Saturn-Neptune conjunction in their birth chart. So do I. Historically, Saturn-Neptune conjunctions have been featured throughout Russian history. 1917, there was a Saturn-Neptune conjunction during the Russian Revolution. From 1952 to 1953, it included the death of Stalin and the birth of now leader Putin. And in 1989, we saw the collapse of the Berlin Wall, the beginning of the end of the Soviet Union. Has the Cold War ever really ended, or has it just gotten colder? Will it heat up again as Neptune ingresses into the sign of the warrior archetype, Aries? I was born just after the fall of the Berlin Wall. I was born in 1990, and I have a loose Saturn-Neptune conjunction from 11 to 18 degrees Capricorn. It's actually part of a triple conjunction because Uranus is also there, creating a very strong emphasis of Capricorn energy. It's a stellium, a concentration of 3 or more placements. And it's on the most intimate part of my chart, the IC, the start of my 4th house, defining who I am as passed down through energetic patterns within my family system. My dad is a highly stoic Capricorn rising, who had a side business most of his life until retirement. My mom is a business owner, my brother a CEO, and my paternal grandfather was a highly Capricornian business-owning CPA. On February 17th, 2026, we have not only the Lunar New Year, ushering us into the year of the Fire Horse, but it's also a very important new moon solar eclipse, happening just 3 days before the Saturn-Neptune alignment, 0 degrees Aries. Aries is all about the self. So we'll be feeling this very personally, especially when it happens at 0 degrees Aries, the very first degree of the entire zodiac wheel. It's a world access point where events play out on a global scale. Saturn and Neptune have been traveling together through Pisces since March 2023, and they're now aligning exactly in Aries, which is all about manifesting our dreams in reality. Saturn is the planet of karmic lessons, personal accountability, time, and authority, and it's the ruling planet for the Capricorn new moon. This new moon in Capricorn is all about the habits and systems we put into place to enable and support success. Capricorn energy is about establishing foundations that last in the long term. So the manifestations and the intentions that we're planting under this new moon have long-term lasting potential. This puts Neptune at the very final degree of not only Pisces, its sign of modern rulership, but the entire zodiacal wheel until January 26th. This has been the final purge, and it will never happen again in our lifetime. It takes Neptune 165 years to travel through the entire zodiac wheel. As Neptune completes its cycle through Pisces, it's dissolving the illusions, delusions, and especially self-deceptions of the past. Pisces, in favor of greater autonomy, self-sufficiency, independence, and personal accountability. Aries, out with victimhood, in with accountability. Since Neptune is the modern planetary ruler for Pisces, it's especially strong and potent in its own sign. This brings a very fluid, watery energy that's highly emotional, intuitive, and lacking in boundaries. It's no wonder that the immigration crisis came to a head during Neptune and Saturn in Pisces. Neptune and Pisces are both related to Poseidon, having to do with oceans and seas. 29 degrees is a critical degree, bringing a crisis. And with Neptune 29 degrees Pisces and Saturn traveling over this point various times since 2023, we have seen extreme examples of flooding. The term atmospheric river, which I had never heard prior to March 2023, has now become mainstream. This could bring issues with water, the destructive force of water, and excessive water in the forms of floods, tsunamis. Uranus, the planet of sudden change, is traveling through the final degrees of Taurus, the sign of Mother Earth. In its final year, will also amplify themes of weather extremes until about April. The dominance of fire and air, especially February 2026 onward, will dry things up and bring themes of wildfire. Neptune 29 degrees can also be related to deception or manipulation through media, widespread misinformation. Neptune can relate to viruses and the immune system, and this could play out even once Neptune travels into Aries. Aries relates to the blood, our circulatory system, and our heads. So viruses could be bloodborne pathogens. They could spread via the blood. It could include viruses that come with inflammation and fever. Aries is a fire sign, and it could affect offspring, babies, the most vulnerable populations of youth. Aries represents new life. After the spring equinox, spring is when animals come out of hibernation and new life emerges after a period of dormancy. In the Bible, Jesus was born during Capricorn season and was given new life during Aries season in the spring. Aries rules over the head and the circulatory system. including the face, the brain, the eyes, the upper jaw, and it's linked to the adrenal glands, which can manifest as headaches, migraines, inflammation, and injuries due to impulsivity. Aries rules over the head and face, the entire head, the forehead, the eyes, the nose, and the facial muscles, the upper jaw, the brain, motor centers, and associated blood vessels, parts of the nervous system, especially the optic nerves and the cerebrospinal system, the endocrine system, especially the adrenal glands and cortisol, the circulatory system, especially blood pressure and blood flow to the head. So Saturn and Neptune traveling through Aries over the next 2 to 3 years, we could see the following health patterns: headaches and migraines due to stress, repressed anger, or overstimulation. Inflammation and fevers, which are associated with Aries' fiery temperament and a tendency toward excess. Issues with eyes, poor eyesight, sore eyes, or inflammation. It could include blindness, literal or metaphorical. Injuries. Aries can be prone to cuts, burns, and head trauma due to their impulsivity. Muscle tension, spasms, especially in the facial muscles, tight jaws, the masseters. Neptune is at the final degree of the zodiac. It's dissolving where they last aligned, which was in Capricorn. So it's dissolving illusions and delusions or deceptions, Neptune, at the hands of government, leaders, and hierarchical systems of control and power, Capricorn. Uranus, traveling over the final degrees of Taurus, is traveling over fixed star Algol, which is all about the myth of Medusa. It's about losing one's cool, or head, or mind, which could symbolize a fall from grace or a loss of power as a result of corruption. Venus and Mars are combust. They are so close to the sun as to not be visible with the naked eye. And this is true for most of January, as they're experiencing a rebirth. This is symbolic. There's a lot happening behind the scenes, and it won't become clear until they re-emerge in the night sky. Mars will re-emerge in the pre-dawn sky in early March, while Venus re-emerges as a morning star in mid-February. This new moon is not only aligned with Mars and Venus during their rebirth, it's sandwiched, equidistant between them, with Mars exalted, aligned with Mercury in Capricorn, and Venus aligned with Pluto in Aquarius. Capricorn has ties to our ancestral past, while Aquarius is highly future-oriented. Venus reemerges right around the time that Uranus, which is featured by harmonious trine to this powerful Capricorn new moon, stations direct, happening on February 4th, 2026, wrapping up a process of personal liberation from our limiting beliefs around finances, values, and self-worth that began in 2018. 2018 was the year I was diagnosed with 6 autoimmune conditions. 2020 was the year I shifted out of victimhood and into empowerment. 2021 was the year I put all 6 autoimmune conditions into remission through diet and exercise. 2023, I completed my personal training certification, and 2025 was the year I completed my holistic nutrition coaching certification. Whenever a planet stations direct or retrograde, its archetypes and energy are felt very strongly throughout the collective, so mark your calendar for February 4th. In Taurus, we can anticipate shakeups to weather, Mother Earth, earthquakes, volcanic eruptions, tornadic activity, the economy, the stock market, and precious resources, including gold, silver, and cobalt. Let's dive in a little bit deeper into the details. This new moon is happening exactly 28 degrees, 44 arc minutes of Capricorn. It's featuring a parade of planets, from Mercury and Mars aligned exactly 26 degrees Capricorn, the new moon, 28 degrees Capricorn, and an out-of-sign conjunction to Venus, 1 degree Aquarius, closing in on Pluto, 3 degrees Aquarius. Everyone will be affected by this new moon. Look to your personal birth chart to see where you have 28 degrees Capricorn and 3 degrees Aquarius to see where this new moon and the seeds of intention with great long-term potential may be manifesting for you. This new moon in Capricorn features this parade of planets in Capricorn, an out-of-sign alignment to Venus and Pluto in Aquarius, opposing Jupiter exalted in Cancer. The new moon phase occurs when the sun and moon are in the same part of the sky or universe, when the moon passes between the sun and the earth, obscuring it from our view. It brings a potent opportunity to plant seeds of intention that culminate 6 months later under the corresponding full moon, which will be in Capricorn. Capricorn is the cardinal earth sign of the goat, symbolizing ambition, achievement, building, and perseverance. Its energy is ruled by Saturn, planet of karma, time, restriction, and personal accountability. As such, the energy is grounded, practical, methodical, and calculating. Capricorn season coincides annually with the winter solstice, and the Capricorn new moon is the best time of the year to set intentions, get organized, and list out long-term goals. You'll be able to use those as a framework to formulate an action plan for success. With planning, consistency, and self-discipline, the Capricorn new moon, ruled by Saturn in the final degrees of Pisces, reminds us that we can accomplish anything we focus or set our minds to. Practice gratitude and mindfulness as you reflect on daily habits and routines and how they either align with your long-term goals or hold you back from attaining them. An imbalance of Capricorn energy, which can happen when we have a lot of planets in Capricorn, can be miserly, pessimistic, materialistic, emotionally cold or detached, and can struggle with patterns of perfectionism and workaholism. What lingering negativity or lack mindset may be blocking your path to success? The new moon in Capricorn is forming a supportive sextile to Saturn, the ruler of Capricorn, and Neptune, which are in Pisces, helping us birth a new way of being. The trine to Uranus brings a sudden change or curveball. Capricorn and Taurus are earth signs that are related to wealth, banking, and finances. Uranus in Taurus and Venus in Aquarius are in mutual reception. They've traded rulers, so they're working very closely together. This could manifest as financial turbulence or a fundamental change in wealth or how one earns money. Important new developments could be unfolding in finances. Since this new moon is so close to Pluto, 3 degrees Aquarius, I'd like to focus on the Sabian symbolism, which would round up to 4 degrees Aquarius. The Sabian symbol for 4 degrees Aquarius is a Hindu healer. This is where I have my North Node of Fate and Destiny, representing themes of spiritual focus, holistic healing and therapy, self-discipline, and the integration of spiritual energy for profound healing and making things more whole, involving compassion and faith in divine order to mend what has formerly been fragmented or broken. This symbol signifies achieving spiritual balance and integrating inner wholeness through disciplined spiritual practice and focused intent, moving beyond mere physical cures to sharing one's healing journey and providing universal harmony. Some manifestations and interpretations include spiritual therapy, focusing on deep spiritual healing rather than just physical ailments, aiming for complete harmony and integration. Self-discipline and purity, requiring dedication, clear motives, integrity, and faith in a higher divine order to channel spiritual energy effectively. My name is Jennifer. It translates from Gaelic for white one or pure one, and I'm wearing all white today. Making whole. The core idea is restoring natural integration and unity to anything that has been lost, fragmented, or broken, bringing it into balance with the whole. There's a reason on this channel I focus not only on spiritual and mental well-being, but physical well-being through nutrition, consistent exercise. Anything that we leave unresolved mentally manifests physically. Aquarius is linked to truth and rebellion. Black Moon Lilith in Sagittarius crusades for truth and speaks up about it loudly. I have this in my chart. It's in my 3rd house. I can't not speak up when I see something wrong. I have to blow the whistle. Let's take a look at what's coming ahead January 20th, Venus aligns with Pluto, amplifying control and power dynamics, especially playing out in our one-to-one relationships. Deep changes are unfolding related to our values and our finances. What we put up with, what we settle for. On January 22nd, Mercury aligns with Pluto. Deep secrets come to light. The very next day, on January 23rd, the Sun aligns with Pluto, shining a big, shiny flashlight on the deep secrets that were revealed the day prior, and bringing issues around human rights to the forefront of media. We could also see major themes of rebellion. On this same day, January 23rd, the Sun, Mercury, Venus, Mars, and Pluto are all aligned in Aquarius. This is while the moon travels through Aries, bringing a very feisty energy. Remember, Aries is that warrior archetype, and Aquarius needs innovation and change. On January 26th, Neptune ingresses into Aries, ushering a new decade and a new era. January 27th, Mars aligns with Pluto, bringing major themes of power and control to the forefront of our attention. The moon aligns with Uranus, the modern planetary ruler for Aquarius, on the same day, a highly rebellious energy. Just prior to the lunar new year and Saturn and Neptune aligning in Aries, on February 14th, Valentine's Day, Saturn ingresses into Aries. The two will align on February 20th. Mommy's baby. Thank you for watching. If you're still with me, you're a real one. Drop your current most used emoji in the comments. If you took anything away from this video, we ask that you like, comment, share the content, and subscribe. If you enjoyed this video, we know that you'll enjoy the full playlist and this additional video. Thank you so much, love you, and see you soon.